Hey, hope all is well. It is a beautiful Monday. The sun is finally peeking from the clouds, and I'm hoping it stays like this all week. So, I have been in this educational series where I am teaching you to teach your child to read, but also informing you on why you need to unenroll your child from public schools for various reasons. Right now, I want to pivot and speak about developmental issues when it comes to your child's learning and how it impacts them, but also give you some remedies on how you can help them at home in your own home environment. And when I talk about developmental issues, I am speaking on ADHD and autism because never have you ever heard of the amount of diagnoses of these two issues as you do today. There are way too many people that are opting into behavioral testing and guaranteeing a diagnosis because of age and the fact that children are naturally hyperactive and inattentive. So, what I have seen is that testing is the ultimate go to for many individuals who forget that a child's home environment and family dynamics can also influence their behavior, meaning that we need to address those potential stressors at home, and that could be more effective than solely relying on testing. There is a potential link also to childhood injections that could contribute to the skyrocketing amount of the ADHD and autism diagnosis. For example, a mom might express concern that her child is hyperactive, unable to sleep, unable to focus in class, but the child's behavior could be influenced from a stressful and problematic home environment, such as like constant arguing. What I tend to see is that people resort to prescriptions as the primary solutions, which is not always the best approach, which is really never the best approach, because these medicines often involve powerful chemicals that can have lasting effects on a child's physical, neurological, and emotional development. A more balanced approach would include examining environmental stressors, those family dynamics, and lifestyle factors, and this could provide better support for your child rather than solely relying on testing, medications, or quick fix solutions. So, I'm going to start by listing some of the injections that are recommended from ages 0 to 6. This should be alarming to many of you because when a child is born, there is no immediate need for jabs. Their natural immune system begins to develop from birth, and that's God given. Some of the injections include HBV, DTaP, RV, the flu, amongst many others. And in these injections are three top ingredients that have raised many concerns and are linked to these behavioral disorders. Those ingredients are thimerosal, which is mercury, aluminum compounds, and formaldehyde. All three of these ingredients have neurotoxic effects and they all contribute to neurodevelopmental disorders such as autism and ADHD. There's a reason why these injections are recommended for children from ages 0 to 6. It's done intentionally. This is when the brain is more susceptible to the neurological issues due to the external factors like medication and injections. This is during critical stages of development in the brain. You're talking about infancy, 0 to 2 years old, when the blood brain barrier is still maturing, making the brain more vulnerable to these disorders. And then you have early childhood, which is 2 to 6 years old, when the brain is highly plastic and is developing language, motor, and cognitive functions. So, those toxins during this period can disrupt the neurological development. And what does ADHD and autism do? They affect the way the brain develops and functions. They affect communication, behavioral, social skills, and learning. Now, it was stated that in 1999, the FDA was supposed to remove thimerosal or mercury from these injections. However, I don't believe that that is true. And even if they did, there's still so many other factors and ingredients that are included in these injections that doesn't even make a dent in what it's doing to the body. Now, we know that ADHD is often treated with those stimulant medications that increase the brain chemicals like dopamine and norepinephrine. These medications only mask the issues, of course, and they come with so many symptoms and side effects like headaches, irritability, eating issues, high blood pressure, amongst so many other things. So, we have to understand that there are other natural ways in order to help your child to get over these behavioral concerns. So, in talking about the root cause of chemical imbalances within the brain, we see that injections are very much so linked to autism and ADHD. However, it could also come from low ferritin levels and an iron deficiency. Now, as a parent, caregiver, teacher, whomever, you should consider non medical factors that can exacerbate these ADHD symptoms, and also understand there are natural ways to support any type of behavioral concerns. The first thing is diet. We have to understand that if your child is eating a lot of fast food, processed snacks, a lot of dairy, that can disrupt the gut and also limit the iron absorption and can worsen ADHD symptoms. So we want to incorporate a diet that is rich in lentils and beans, veggies, iron rich foods that can help to nourish your child's mind. Then you have exercise. Any type of physical activity can improve brain function and reduce symptoms of hyperactivity. Another way we can cut back on those symptoms is incorporating supplements such as omega 3s and 6s, magnesium, vitamin C, iron, zinc, and B1. These nutrients can be found in foods, and that is critical for certain chemical production within the brain. And talking about supplements, we want to try and avoid those supplements like melatonin. I have heard of children overdosing and also going into sleep paralysis because our body makes its own melatonin. And so imagine giving your child a double dose of something to help them go to sleep. It's definitely not going to be as effective as you think. Moving on, screen time management is one of the main and biggest issues that I am seeing. Excessive screen exposure, such as social media, video games, etc., can overstimulate your brain's reward center, that dopamine, those dopamine hits, and this can worsen those ADHD symptoms, particularly in children who already have a dopamine imbalance. We want to reduce exposure to electronics and encourage other forms of engagement that can help balance those dopamine levels. What I see now in this microwave technology generation is that all of the children are on some sort of screen all of the time, whether it's a tablet, a phone, in front of the TV, whatever, what have you. They even have those VR headsets now where you can go into this virtual reality world. All of that stuff is only increasing the dopamine in that child's mind, overstimulating their child's mind. This is why we have a lax generation who gets tired of things very easily because they're used to those dopamine hits. Like taking a hit of something, and after it's worn down, they need another hit and another one. And it continues on. The cycle continues. The people who invented all of these technology savvy items know exactly what they were doing. Now, yes, you can use the internet and all of these things for the proper reasons, but let's face it, a lot of the time these children are not, especially if they don't have a set time and a set routine in order to be able to use these items. So we want to truly make sure that we are limiting what they do on these electronics and also not allowing them to use the electronics close to bedtime or even when they wake up in the morning, because your brain needs time, the child needs peace, and you want to try to pull them away from everything that's going on in the world as much as possible. Those routine and focused activities could be encouraging them to read their Bible, prayer time, crafts, and puzzles, which can help develop patience, focus, and emotional regulation. Some of the more holistic herbal methods that you can take include herbs called passion flower, ashwagandha, lion's mane, and ginkgo biloba. All of these supplements are associated with focus or brain function and brain circulation. Most of these can be found in capsules, liquid drops, powders, as well as dried leaves. Now, disclaimer, you want to make sure that you are not mixing herbs. If your child is currently taking the lion's mane, you want to stick to that. And if it's working, stick with it. Don't start, getting out there and trying to experiment and do too many things at once because you don't know what's really effective and what's not. And you also do not know the side effects of mixing those herbs. So you want to take it a little bit at a time and pace yourself to see how the body is going to respond. But I do know that I've heard good things about these herbs, so give it time. Now, fully restructuring diet and habitual practices takes time, but with prayer and discipline, you can make those small steps in the right direction. So, with that being said, I just want to conclude and just reiterate those steps for you. Instead of you seeking that medical attention, that medical diagnosis or medication, let's consider adjusting your child's diet to improve iron and their chemical balances within their brain. Let's reduce screen time and increase time for creative and calming activities. You need to also engage your children in regular exercise and outdoor play. You can incorporate those natural supplements that I mentioned earlier, like the omega-3s, the magnesium, zinc, iron, and then reviewing and improving the child's daily routines to include more focused activities and less stimulation from screens and processed foods. Understand that if you incorporate prayer and biblical reading to your child and really truly start that foundation at home and build off of that, then you will be led to do the right things when it comes to educating your child, but also educating yourself and wanting your child to live a better and more sustainable life without the medications. There are so many different holistic routes that you can take if you see that your child is struggling with ADHD, autism, hyperactivity, of lack of focus, anything that you see that has become a detriment to them and has hindered them from learning the proper way. It's always a natural method and always a way for you to get back to basics, because that's what we need, especially right now. So I hope and pray that this video has helped you to understand why your child may be having a little bit of ADHD symptoms, and in us understanding the intentions behind the injections and us understanding the toxins and the ingredients and how harmful they are to our bodies, we have to make better decisions going forward. We can't say that we did not know if the information is given to us. So I pray that you go and look at some of these herbs and really truly start to get away from what the world is telling you to do and do what you know is right to do. So with that being said, I pray that you guys have a blessed week. Thank you.